replacement battery.
He only lasts for so many.
Sure. Please take notice that action will be taken on the following items at the regular council meeting on Tuesday, January 9th, 2024, in the council chambers, Sparta Township, Municipal Building 65, Main Street, Sparta, New Jersey. The time is about 7:17. All council meetings are now live streamed and can be viewed at the following link, www.youtube.com/SpartaTWP/streams. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the public and the press on January 5th, 2024, by delivering to the press and posting on the township website a copy of the notice. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Hertzberg.
Here.
Councilwoman Quinn.
Here.
Councilman Chiarello.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Clementi.
Here.
Mayor Clark.
Here. And salute to the flag.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we have no minutes this evening. What we have now is the manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and Sparta residents. I'm going to start with the winter weather operation updates. All Public Works, Parks, and Utility staff are prepared to be on call and ready for winter weather events. Storm number 1 of 2024 started on Saturday, January 6th, ending midday, January 7th, with a total wintry precip mix of 9.4 inches. Public Works Department, the annual Christmas tree collection started on January 2nd. Residents can place their used Christmas trees along the curb no later than January 19th to be collected. In our Parks and Recreation Department, the Recreation Department has been working on winter registrations, which opened on December 13th. Many programs are filling up, and all winter programs begin within the first 2 weeks of January. Basketball clinics for kindergarten through third grade began on Saturday. The Senior Citizen New Year's Eve party was held on Thursday, December 28th, with 80 participants. Several members of the Key Club from Sparta High School volunteered at the event to help serve the seniors. The event, as always, was very well received. Parks and Recreation staff are preparing for the return of the Winter Carnival on February 10th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Sparta Middle School. Entry is free, with food donations being collected for the Sparta Community Food Pantry. More detailed information can be found on the township's website under Parks and Recreation. Park staff are working on new picnic benches, player benches, and performing the required small machine maintenance on all tools and equipment. Sparta Library. Both the library's annual circulation numbers and door count numbers were the highest they have been since 2019, recovering from the pandemic. They continue to remain successful in keeping up with the changes so as to meet the needs of our community and remains a central hub of Sparta Township. One example is their recent purchase of a new 3D printer to stay current with technology, which will be available to the public by the end of January. The 3D printer is popular with patrons of all ages for their projects. Sparta Junior Women Club, Given Tree, collected Christmas gifts for children throughout Sussex County with the library being as the collection site. Provided many carloads of gifts. The library also donated December fines in the amount of $1,780 to the Sparta Ecumenical Food Pantry. Every year they pass a resolution for this purpose. Patrons tend to donate a little more than their fine for the cause. Year-end report from the Youth Services Librarian shows that 210 new library cards were requested and made for children in the community. The library will host the third Council Connect initiative on January 19th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., which is the public's opportunity to ask questions of your elected officials in an informal, comfortable environment. As a reminder, the Sparta Library offers many classes and activities planned for all age groups. Please visit spartalibrary.com. Chief McCarrick will read his portion of the mayor's report. This concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor, Council, and Sparta residents.
Thank you, Manager Zepp. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I'd like to start off tonight by mentioning a passing of retired Chief Brett Alamay from the Hardiston Township Police Department. Chief Alamay served, I believe, his 23 years with Hardiston and had some prior military experience. He retired as a chief 3 years ago. Was a very active member of the Sussex County Chiefs Association, past president, and also active member of the New Jersey State Chiefs Association. Upon his retirement, Chief Alamay was also a proud supporter as the vice president of program development for LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drugs, and really assisted us here with building our program to get out this, very special program to the children within our schools. So just want to take a moment to mention that. The chief was only 50 years old, and he will be missed. So our thoughts go out to his family tonight. Police licensing has started in New Jersey as of January 1st, 2024. Every police officer in the township was licensed with the state of New Jersey. Initially, license expirations are staggered, and what they're doing is they're doing 1 to 3 year expirations right now for the initial expiration. After the first renewal of everybody, it'll be valid for 3 years, and there is a very strong renewal process of the license, which includes that the agency must complete an updated background check, and the officer must have completed all their mandatory training as set forth by the Attorney General's office. With the weather, like Manager Zepp mentioned, with the winter months upon us, we're expecting storms. From a public safety perspective, we ask that during these inclement weather, that if you can, stay at home. If you don't need to be on the road, don't be on the road. Our officers often deal with a lot of increased motor vehicle crashes during these times, even with a small amount of snow. I know people want to go to work, they try to go to work, they come home, and, we're bailing them out of the ditch on Route 15. Not only you're putting other people at risk, but you're also putting our officers at risk. So we ask that be cautious of that, and you stay tuned, to our social media for the most appropriate updates that we provide and any precautions that we could provide, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Our Drive Sober, Get Pulled Over campaign did very well. During the month of December, the Sparta Police Department participated in the New Jersey Drive Sober, Get Pulled Over holiday crackdown, where we were awarded a grant by the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety to fund officer overtime to provide DWI enforcement. During the month of December, our officers conducted the following in motor vehicle enforcement. There were 8 DWI arrests, which was down 1 arrest in comparison to 2022. Summonses issued, there was 11 seatbelt summonses issued, 10 suspended driver summonses issued, 7 reckless driver summonses issued, 36 careless driver summonses issued, and there was an additional 184 summonses issued. So it was a very active enforcement there.
What was the last one, Chief?
The last number, there was an additional 184 summonses that were not the ones that I mentioned above.
Okay.
So it could be something else, with talking on the cell phone, anything like that.
And that's just in December?
That's just December, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Last thing, I just want to give a little bit of a 2023 overview. The past year was like a whirlwind for me. I'm sure it was for all of you. We always say that, I can't believe how fast it has gone. And especially for me as a newly appointed chief, it went very quickly. I was faced with and accepted many challenges, and collectively we can improve on our day-to-day operations by learning from the challenges we face together, and that's what we've done. Without a doubt, we are who we are because every single one of our employees here, not just in the police department, but within the whole township. The focus in law enforcement is, of course, public safety, but in reality, there are so many more factors that overall make up this profession that people don't know or don't understand. And we're not asking anybody to. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing. But the makeup starts with the men and women who represent our agency and our township, from both sworn officers to non-sworn civilian employees. These men and women cannot succeed without support, and that support comes from their peers, their supervisors, my command staff, and myself, our township administration, our township council, our township volunteers, and most importantly, our public and our families. In 2023, our officers had a total of 35,894 incidents. So that's a total of 35,894 of some type of police activity or interaction while in the performance of their duties. While attending these 35,894 interactions with our department, we had a total of 47, that's 47 use of force incidents. And when you think about that 35,894 incidents, I'm sure there's a lot more people that we actually interacted with. And to have only 47 use of force incidents is something I'm very proud of the men and women who serve us here. This is just a snapshot of some of the analytical reviews that I wanted to share with the council and the public tonight. My staff and I are in the process of completing a much more detailed year-end review and report to be shared. So in closing, for 2024, our mission stays the same. And that mission is that the Sparta Police Department will provide our citizens and guests with prompt and courteous police services, whether emergency or routine, in a timely and efficient manner. We will proactively seek new and innovative ways to reduce crime and work with the members of our community to provide our public safety. And our vision is simple, is to carry out this mission with excellence. And so that concludes my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. And I think it's only fitting that today is actually Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And so on behalf of the council and everyone in Sparta, thank you. As you said, there's a lot that, we don't see. And I'm sure when you list, for example, the use of force, that's an extremely low number, right? And it could have been a lot higher, but due to the training, et cetera, that people have, they are able to keep that number incredibly low for 35,000 incidents. I mean, that's a remarkable achievement, and that's just a testament to your professionalism from the top down. So thank you.
You're welcome, and, on behalf of all our men and women, it's our pleasure to serve. Thank you.
May I have a motion to accept the manager's report?
So moved?
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. We are now at the open to the public portion of our meeting. This is for items that are not on the agenda. Doesn't look like anyone. Okay, we can move on. Deputy Mayor, would you please read the expenditures?
Yes, make a motion to approve expenditures of $6,398,976.98.
May I have a second?
I will second that.
All opposed? I mean, sorry. Sorry about that. I will do a roll call for that.
Councilman Hertzberg.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn.
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti.
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. Motion carries. We have no ordinances tonight, nor do we have any hearing of any ordinance. Next up is the open to the public with respect to the resolutions. So if you take a look at the resolutions, you should only be speaking about the resolutions. Okay, no one. So I would like to, I think if we can, make a motion to carve out 9-13, 9-14, and 9-15. So may I have a motion to carve those three out?
I'll make a motion to carve out 913, 914, and 915.
May I have a second?
Hold on, I'm still trying to figure out what they are.
Okay.
So do we need a motion to carve them out or?
Disapprove the ones above that.
Okay, if we can do that, that's fine.
Let's do that.
Okay, sure. May I have a motion to approve resolutions 9-1 through 9-12?
I move that we approve resolutions 9-1 through 9-12.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
May I have a roll call?
Councilman Hertzberg.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn.
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti.
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. Okay, may I have a motion to approve 9-13, resolution approving the municipal service agreement with Round Top at Sparta Homeowners Association Incorporated?
I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 9-13.
May I have a second?
I will second it, but I have a question.
Yeah, and we'll return to the days, and I also have a question. So I'll just start with mine, which is, what are the services for which we are reimbursing Round Top? Are those ones that are just consistent with the Kelly Act?
This falls right under the Kelly bill.
Okay,
So it's the snow control services and the street lighting.
I think Councilman Chiarello may have had a
Yeah,
question.
just very simply, this was on the agenda for the last Thursday's meeting, and we tabled it on the advice of our council. Are you now comfortable with moving forward with it?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
that's all I
we
need to know.
finally reached an agreement with them.
Thank you. No more questions.
Okay, we have a first and a second. We just need a vote.
Councilman Hertzberg.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn.
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti.
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. Next motion, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-14, a resolution authorizing the township manager to sign treatment works approval applications and consents.
I will move that we approve Resolution 9-14.
I'll second.
And
And actually, before we approve, I will make a motion that we amend 9-14 to restrict this to only single-family homes.
I'll second that.
So actually, we had a motion to, I messed that up.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
sorry.
correct.
So we
That's
gotta,
correct that I messed it up.
so we gotta back that out, right?
So I'm going to redact take back my motion to approve 9-14.
I'm gonna redact my second.
Thank you. So we're back to the beginning. So I'm going to make a motion that we amend Resolution 9-14 to have the resolution applied only to single-family homes.
I'll second that.
Now you have the motion to amend.
yeah, so I need may I have a motion to amend Resolution 9-14 so that it only includes single-family homes?
I think we had that and we seconded it, right? So now we just need
No,
to
we
vote.
You're voting.
We're voting on it, yeah.
Voting on
Motion
the
to
amendment first, right?
Yep.
You gotta approve the amendment, and then we'll.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay. A motion to amend to add single-family homes to Resolution 9-14.
I'd like to clarify, it's not to
Restricted,
add to it.
it's
it's to limit
restricted.
or restrict this only to single-family residences.
Correct. So is that a roll call or you want to?
Well, to make it crystal clear, it's a motion to amend 9-14 to include only single-family homes within the scope of 9-14.
Correct. So that motion was made and seconded, so now we
We have a roll call.
Councilman Hertzberg.
No.
Councilwoman Quinn.
I'm gonna say no, but I wanna clarify. It currently, I think, is residential, right? That's what it says.
That's the amendment.
And so the amendment is to not do residential, to do only single family, correct?
No,
Just so I
the
understand
motion,
what-
the resolution as it's currently recorded in our packet is for everything. And the
Right.
motion was to restrict it to only apply to single-family homes.
All businesses have to come through.
Okay, so I'm gonna say no to that.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti.
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. Motion passed as amended.
No, now you have to vote.
Then the
on
amendment, yeah, I know. The amendment passed.
amended.
Yeah, the resolution is so amended, we now have to pass the resolution as amended.
Correct.
So may I have a motion to pass Resolution 9-14 as amended?
I make a motion that we approve Resolution 9-14 as just amended.
I'll second the motion to approve 9-14 as amended.
Okay, may I have a vote?
Councilman Hertzberg.
No.
Councilwoman Quinn.
No.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. Resolution 914, as amended, has carried. Next up, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-15, which is authorizing the appointment of a health services consultant.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Question is whether this needs to be amended in any way to reflect that this is contingent upon a contract being signed by our healthcare consultant.
Yeah, I would recommend it be amended just to reflect that it's contingent upon indeed a contract that is signed by the mayor.
Well, that's the actual resolution, is to authorize, for the council to authorize the mayor to sign the contract.
I didn't
Right.
see that in the language.
Somebody play the Jeopardy theme?
No, it's just saying that it's an appointment.
It doesn't have that operative paragraph.
It says it's a contract.
No,
Yeah,
they're-
well, it's awarding the contract to the healthcare consultant, but that award of the contract is not, there's no language in here that says that award of the contract is contingent upon the awardee entering into a contract with the township, and I think that's the amendment that we want.
But it just permits us to contract professional services, so that,
Right.
that's a direction you're going to give Jim to do. He doesn't
Well,
have
we
to,
wanna
it's not saying he has
empower
to.
the mayor
Administrative
to
function.
sign the contract
Right.
on behalf of the council.
We should do that one step.
That's what we just want to set forth in this resolution. It authorizes the mayor to execute a contract on behalf of the council.
So do we have to add that language? We have to make a motion to add that language into this resolution?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we add to the resolution language such that the resolution authorizes the mayor to sign a contract for the aforementioned appointment.
Okay, do we have a second to Councilman Chiarello's amendment?
Second.
Okay, vote, please.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yep.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. Okay, we now have, may I have a motion to pass Resolution 9-15 as amended?
So moved.
May I have a
I'll
second?
second.
Vote, please.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Abstain.
Mayor Clark.
Yes. Motion carries. And that finishes our resolution. Just before we move to the liaison updates, folks may have seen in here, there were a lot of resolutions for the group purchasing organizations, and I thought it would be helpful just if we could, Jim, explain just very briefly the benefit that accrues to the town by entering into these cooperative agreements.
Sure, Mayor. We do these every year. Usually the first meeting of the year, we renew our membership to all these co-ops that you see in the resolutions and the state contracts and whatnot. The township obviously purchases a lot of goods, commodities. The first one that comes to mind is salt. That's a high-priced one. So in order for us to get the best price on a commodity like salt, we enter into membership in a lot of co-ops, like the Sussex County Co-op, the Morris County Co-op, the Somerset Co-op, and they will all go out to bid on their own terms for the commodity of salt. Then what we do is we look at what the awarded price is for salt, and we pick the best one, and by doing that, the township saves a lot of money because these co-ops go through the bidding process, and it saves us the administrative costs of us going out to bid for every little commodity that we purchase. On a smaller scale, you have state contract vendors like Granger Supply, the Home Depot. They're on state contract, and we patronize those establishments, but we get a better price than the public does because we're a governmental entity. We also enjoy the tax exemption status, and that is, what helps us do that. So with Sam's help here, Sam is our qualified purchasing agent. We pay a lot of attention to all the co-ops out there. Sometimes new ones are developed. Some of the old ones will go away, but the ones in those resolutions there, they all have a purpose because at one time or not, we've used those contracts to our advantage. And that's why we do that.
Thank you. So my understanding is that we save money in two ways. One, through purchasing power. Two, through lower administrative costs, because we're not the ones that have to do all the bidding. We have, the group purchasing organization does that. So we save money in two ways. Is that right?
That's
Yes,
correct.
and what also sometimes, and it has availed to us past years, is say like we have salt through Morris County Co-op, and they are only allowed to get X amount of dollars worth of tonnage. Well, they may blow through that tonnage, so now we have another vendor, maybe under Sussex County Co-op, that we can still get that salt from. So it avails us with the opportunities to get the products that we need for the residents of Sparta.
Thank you. I appreciate the explanation, and I'm sure folks appreciate not having to pay as much as they would if we had to go on the open market ourselves. We're now at the council liaison updates. I will start with updates. Now that I'm on the library board, we will be meeting next week, and I will update folks at our meeting that occurs after that. With Rev 250, we are also going to be meeting next week, and again, I will update everyone as after that meeting. We are trying to really get started. We have, like I said, a lot of very helpful and experienced people on there, and part of it is the state is doing some events, and we're trying to participate in those. In addition, there's opportunity for grant money as part of this, so we'll be doing that.
Mayor Clark, before I interrupt, what day is that meeting?
Right now, it's looking like January 16th. But that may change because there's some people who can't make that meeting, so I want to make sure we can have a quorum.
Okay.
So just, I know that you're now on it, and so I'll make sure that you're apprised of the new date if it changes, or, whatever date we confirm.
Thank you.
And that concludes my liaison updates. Do we have any other updates? Councilman Blumetti or Deputy Mayor Blumetti?
The only thing I wanted to share is the planning board will hold its annual reorganization meeting next Wednesday on the 17th. And that's it for updates.
Councilman Chiarello?
You have two quick updates. The Board of Ed, the council, Mayor Clark and I are liaisons to the Board of Ed, and looks like we are tentatively setting up a meeting for not next week, but the following week. So we're going to have our first meeting of the year with our Board of Ed compatriots. I believe it's January 22nd we're coalescing around. And then our first meeting of the Environmental Commission of the year will be on Thursday. And we were recently completed I thought was interesting. I just thought I'd share a fun fact that the council recently completed a stormwater training program, and one item that I thought I'd share was that 90% of all storms generate 1.25 inches of rain, and so an average storm on over 1 acre of impervious coverage will generate 28,500 gallons of runoff. Now, if that water was instead diverted off of that 1 acre into 2 acres of pervious coverage, that will result in only 4,360 gallons of runoff. So that means that 24,140 gallons perk into the aquifer over that scenario. And if you're wondering why you didn't think there was going to be any math involved today, my point is that we recover almost like over 90% of the stormwater that goes right into our aquifer, and so that's why stormwater management is important. Anyway, that's my fun environmental fact of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Hertzberg?
Yes, although I'm not on the Board of Ed committee, I will bring up 2 points. I'm working with the administration to put in an ROTC program. It's kind of like ROTC Light because they didn't have it in the budget. But this is a club that's done by the military recruitment office free of charge to pique interest and see how many people want to be involved in that. We're looking for some funding to get them started. And one of the requests from the seniors or from the township was a group of students to help with seniors. So the administration is putting together, we're putting together a group of students, junior, seniors, whoever, that are on a list where the seniors can call if they need help moving furniture or just tasks that they physically can't do, so we have some volunteers to help them. So I met with the administration this morning, and that's in the process right now. We have our BDC meeting in the morning, weather permitting. I'll talk to you two gentlemen after the meeting, see what your opinion is. And then otherwise, I'll let you talk about the seniors, Chris, if, 'cause I'm sure you have copious notes.
I think on the ROTC, I think that's a fantastic idea. You said that they're looking for funding. If someone's interested in donating, what should they do?
We've already got that handled.
Okay, you're
So,
good with that?
Unfortunately, ROTC, I think what they told me was $10,000 per school, and they did not have that budgeted, but this is just, just by the regulations, they have to have a teacher in the room, even though the ROTC personnel are there. So just to make it more attractive to the teachers, we want to give them a stipend, but it's a minimal amount, and I'm sure, and I don't want to speak for them, that the VFW has been very integral in getting this done, that they will donate it. If not, I'll donate it myself.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman, just to let you know, let's have a conversation after this because the Municipal Alliance, one of the programs that they identified was ROTC. So we actually can use state funding that we receive from the opioid settlement fund. And we would be super excited. We've already talked about this.
Great.
And it's actually identified in the report that I gave. So let's have that conversation and get that going.
Great, awesome.
Okay, so the seniors will be meeting the third week in January. The Parks and Rec Department Advisory Committee has their first meeting the 16th of January, so the same date as your Revolution 250.
So 16th isn't happening.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, just an
No,
FYI.
Chris, I'm sorry, can I just jump in with the seniors really quick? 'Cause one of
Yes,
the points I wanted
please
to
do.
bring up
Yeah.
about the meeting prior
Yes,
was that the planning board was in attendance, which was great because the seniors had kept bringing to us the concern about not having affordable housing in Sparta. And same thing that we've talked about for years is, one, the backup of affordable housing in Sparta for seniors is, there's just so many seniors that they retire on a fixed income, they just can't live here anymore, and that's a shame. People grow up here, live here their whole life, and then they're chased out of here because of
correct.
the cost of living here. The other thing is, you hear business after business after business complaining about not being able to hire people. And, it's hurting businesses, it's hurting the residents, yet we don't provide any kind of affordable housing for people that are gonna work in these businesses. And before COVID, we were complaining that we were losing the youth, that we couldn't keep up. Schools were losing population, we couldn't keep our residents here. And, part of the things we talked about is, people, they leave school, they get their first professional job, and there's no option for them to live here. There's just, especially with rent the way it is, with the cost of housing, and if we're not gonna figure out ways to have these kinds of things solved, then we're just gonna continue to have these problems. And the seniors, more than anybody, and me and you have talked about this for years now, and advised different developers who were building, recommending that they, provide affordable housing for seniors because it was so needed. And it was good to see the planning board there, and it was good to see the seniors expressing that to that organization because, ultimately they have to approve these projects. That was it.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, perfect. So the Municipal Alliance, I did give that report for end of the year and all the things that we are working on. And I want to just report back to everyone that I did right before the end of the year have the opportunity to bring the first check for $3,000 over to the Sussex County Food Pantry. They were elated, over the top, really very, very thankful. So that's happening. We got a lot of really great stuff going on with the Alliance, and Councilman, we'll talk about that ROTC. That won't be, like I said, the group's already agreed and identified it, so we're happy to partner and get it off the ground. Lake Mall Country Club, we're gonna have to set up those meetings, so you and I should probably get together and just maybe pick some dates that we can give so that we can at least get some things, because you know how it is, the calendar's just, everybody's calendar gets crazy. So we'll have to do that. And another part of something I serve as a liaison to for us and the county is the New Jersey League of Municipalities. So I do actually want to thank the outgoing president, Mike Sarah, welcome in the new president, William Chedwigan. He's from Wharton. He's the mayor of Wharton currently. So he's the new president of the NJLM, which is really great news. Mike did a great job when he was there. We want to thank him. Something else from the league, I want to point out, the packet, all the council members did receive the packets and the correspondence from the NJLM. In that packet, there is reference to scholarship opportunity. The league is asking municipalities to take a look at that and pass it along accordingly and support it in the schools. It's a $1,000 scholarship. So I'd just want to point that out. If everyone could please look at the packet, the information is in there. Additionally, information is in the latest New Jersey Municipalities magazine, which we're very proud of putting out at the league. And I want to direct everyone's attention to page 15, speaking also in lines of what you were talking about before, but for a different audience. So Middletown just put together, and if you refer to page 15, you can learn more about it in the NJLM book, but they did an entire development for veterans, all COA, it's all outlined. You can take a look at it here, but it's all affordable housing units. So it meets the COA obligation, and it tremendously helped the veterans.
That's awesome.
So I want to point that out and ask everyone to look at it. Maybe we can have a discussion, this becomes a problem, and making sure that we have not just housing, the right housing that our community needs. And the veterans are certainly deserving of it. So I just wanted to ask everyone to please take a look at page 15. And I think the rest I have is for new business.
And can I just, in your LMCC meeting,
Yes.
with Jim's approval, if we can open up the discussion, and I don't know what's going on now, but we had this debate about the parking lot. And, what I've heard is that it's still not making money and it's still upside down, the whole pay for parking thing. So maybe we can re-talk about partnering with the town so we can provide free parking for residents and for businesses
Yeah.
by offering services to help, because the country club should not pay for parking that's not for members, right? That shouldn't be their obligation. That's private land. They have every right to say members only parking. But those businesses really could use, people being able to go in and park and go to their shops and go to their restaurants. So if indeed they're not making money and it's not, turned out to be this great thing like they thought it would be, maybe we can have that discussion again.
Yeah, as you know, I tried to have that discussion.
I know you did.
But it is absolutely warranted to do it again to help not just, the club, but also the businesses, because there are.
Absolutely.
The problem is when that parking is done, or if it's an inclement day, or if it's a cold day, or whatever, people, they might park and walk to one of the larger venues, but they're not going to pay the money and walk to go get a candy bar at Nettie Over Streets or whatever. So I think
Or
Neil
go to the
will-
pizza place when you can just go
Yeah.
to another one that has a parking spot right in front of it.
Right.
So, it's worth having the conversation. New board members, new administration.
So Neil, we can talk about some background there as well before, and maybe we can add that to the agenda when we figure out the dates.
Okay.
So that's all I have for council liaison reports.
Are there any other updates, or if someone forgot to say something in their update that they need to add? Okay, with that, does anyone have any unfinished business?
That's all business right now.
Oh, did we combine those?
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay.
just business.
So
right?
any unfinished or new business that you would like to raise?
Can I bring?
I don't have any, so go ahead.
I just want to really convey sincere condolences. So a member of the fire department, a member of that family in the fire department, Monica Jadash, passed away very suddenly. And obviously, we want to thank her for her service and dedication. Her family, her brother's also involved with the fire department as well. And I think it's just really appropriate that we take just a minute and obviously convey to the fire department and to the family, our condolences, and also our sincere thanks for her service and commitment to supporting the fire department.
Yep. Please pass that on to the family.
Also, I want to thank the chief and Jim for following up and staying on Verizon as well for trying to get this situation resolved. I really appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to hearing what comes of it, but I want to thank you for being diligent and staying on them. So that's one of those keep you posted, right?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. And the last thing is I spoke to the manager today. I'm going to be putting together a meeting with us to talk about the Smart 9/11 communication campaign that we wanted to do. So we'll all get in the room, brainstorm it, and maybe we can get it out sooner rather than later, especially now since we're in storm season. So that's it for me.
Anyone else with old or unfinished or new business?
Yeah, one of the things, and I know I talked to Chris and Dan about it, and I wanted to talk to you two gentlemen about the potential of, with the project that we have going on at the old dump and doing the solar out there, one of the things that we had talked to them originally about is doing some projects in Sparta. One of the things I would like to talk about, as far as, we all know that we lose power here a lot and we have big storms, it's even worse, is potentially putting solar on top of the pump houses with battery packs so that if we do have any extended outages, water continues to flow, right? It's not an issue usually, right? Because you guys have the generators you put out there and that works. But if we, like we saw during Sandy, you couldn't get gas. And I just thought if they're doing solar and they're offering projects, that might be a good way to make sure that the one thing that people really need in an extended period of time, is water. And it might be a good way to make sure that we're kind of bulletproofing people's homes. Because, power goes out for too much and that water stops. So just something to consider. I'd love to sit down and talk to you guys about that.
I think that is an amazing idea, and I also think it goes in really well with in the emergency management plan. And if we can wrap this in with the existing vendor and wrap it into that project
Yeah,
for public
that-
health and
that was your idea, and
continuity.
that was a great
No,
idea.
no, I'm just saying, I think
Oh.
it's really worth a lot of merit,
Well, if we-
especially if we don't have to pay for
Yeah,
it.
we can do it without impacting the taxpayers in the long run.
And speaking of that, what good timing.
Right, as power outages start to roll up right now.
Power outages are starting to roll in.
There's some trees down, some lines down, so.
That's part of living out here.
I just have a,
Deputy Mayor Bumetti, do you have any?
yeah, just a quick thank you and thank Jim and Sam and Dawn on Sam's team for answering in advance my usual questions I have on some of the bills, and Jim for sharing a lot of prep information in advance. I know it takes some time, so just wanted to thank you both.
Happy to do it.
We all thank you.
Yes.
Councilman Chiarillo.
Yeah, I have 5 things I want to briefly to go through. Number one is I want to thank Brendan Kramer, DPW Road Department, for representing our township so admirably on Thursday. We had a news crew from NBC News come out to the DPW site, and Brendan made us proud, and the whole DPW made us proud over the storm. I think you guys did a great job clearing up, so thanks to them, and especially for Brandon. Secondly is we had the council informed me last week, our legal counsel informed that the 3-minute time limit for public speaking needs to be renewed every year. So can we put a resolution on the agenda for next week to vote on renewing that 3-minute public speaking time limit policy for next year? Thirdly is I'd like to make a motion that we put a resolution on the agenda for next week for the January 23rd meeting to fly the Pan-African flag for the first week of February to honor Black History Month. So I'm making that motion right now. Again, the motion is to have a resolution on the January 23rd agenda to fly the Pan-African flag for Black History Month in February.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Abstain.
Abstain.
Okay, thank you.
Motion carries.
I'll also believe, we talked about having an ordinance to update the Environmental Commission statutes to tweak the language of the student liaison term to go to align with the school year. Is that in the works or? Okay. Thanks. And finally, I have been in contact and exchanged several emails with Anastasia Kanalopoulou, who is Anastasia. She is the Sparta Historical Society in Sparta, Greece. And Ms. Kanalopoulou is forming a Sparta Net world network of cities around the world municipalities around the world whose named Sparta. I have a page, just glancing at it, it's like 30 or 40 different municipalities, a lot of them in the United States, but several of them around the world. And the goal is to start a cultural network between the cities. I had initially reached out to Anastasia because Sparta, we had, from a resolution in 1969, we declared Sparta, Greece, as a sister city of Sparta, New Jersey. And I wanted to see if we can renew that connection and do something with it. The Historical Society in Greece seemed very enthusiastic about setting something up. They did warn me, or inform me that the government is changing hands there, the municipal government in Sparta in Greece, this month, and so that we made it a point to touch base either later in January or in February to take the next step. I've already been in touch with our superintendent of schools, who has then socialized that information among some of the social studies departments, and I think they're also gearing up to get some ideas together what we can do with that relation. So I think that's kind of fun.
Dan, I don't know if you're aware, but we actually have a Spartan that was given to one of the town managers on his visit to Sparta, Greece.
Yeah, she did mention that to me. Yeah, that was cool,
came
wasn't it?
here.
Yeah, they came here.
They did come here, but Bill Curcio went there.
Yeah, we went there
And they
too.
were
Oh, when
yeah.
he went
presented,
there.
and they were presented with a Spartan. We still have it downstairs.
So someone, there was a runner
A little bit different, but keep going.
that came here. Remember it was a couple of years ago.
It was a couple of years ago. There was an ultra marathoner.
Yes.
That was going to recreate the run from Athens, Athens in Greece to Sparta in Greece. But it turns out that Athens, Pennsylvania and Sparta, New Jersey are almost the same exact distance. So that person was going to recreate that run from running from Athens, Pennsylvania to Sparta here. And we were all set up to
Yes.
meet him and stuff. As it turns out, he called off the race because I think it was a storm and it was dangerous.
Yes. But is he part of this thing too?
No, this
Oh,
is
this
just.
is separate.
This
Okay.
is, so picture Marianne Franciscuto's organization in Sparta. Like, they've got
that's
a lot of culture in Sparta. Like,
Wow. Okay.
And so we're trying to get that connection going.
Okay.
But I was inspired. I saw, if you go into the clerk's office on the wall, there's a proclamation that says, we are sister cities. And I was looking at that one day. I'm like, do we do anything with this? And so that's what started the whole thing.
Bill asked me to tell you to keep the Spartans safe down there.
Oh,
Safe.
nice.
We send out Christmas cards to every Sparta police department in the.
Oh, really?
country. Let them know that we're the #1 Sparta nation.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, they love that.
Chief, how many are there?
I don't know exactly.
It's like
Just a
20 of
handful?
them in the
I
United
know there's
States.
one in North Carolina.
Wow.
They're all over.
Georgia.
All the time.
Maria had sent them out for.
Chief, I
us.
like the idea of Sparta Olympics.
I like that.
Excellent. All right, that concludes my new business.
Okay, I will just say, if we do want to recreate the run, I have connections in the ultra marathon. I don't do it myself. I think those folks are nuts. But I do have people, and maybe I'll reach out to them and see if someone wants to do it. I will say, with respect to the resolution about the time limit, we'll have a discussion of it, I guess, if it does come up. I can just say I'm opposed to it. I find it unnecessary to put a muzzle on our public. I feel like it makes me the timekeeper, and I'm looking at the clock instead of listening to my voters. So I'd prefer that not happen. I think that we've had it's been unnecessary. We haven't had much attendance at these. As much, I'd love to have more attendance. I just find it unnecessary, but we can have that discussion if it does come up for a vote. And with that, I think if no one has any other business, we are now open to the public. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Otto.
Robert Otto, 41 North Shore Trail.
And feel free to speak as long as you want. I'm joking, sorry.
I hate I hate public speaking. So, but Councilman Hertzberg brought up something during the liaison updates, and so I just wanted to talk to Neil and Chris. And I think it was kind of about Lake Mohawk didn't see the windfall that they were expecting with the parking lot. And as a Sparta taxpayer and someone who sees their LMCC dues keep going up, Neil, I think you're going to catch up. Chris, you can help him catch up, right? So my understanding is we have a private lot within Lake Mohawk, and we were seeking to basically get the equivalent of a municipal service agreement, or just basically get money back for use of that lot. But it was unfortunate because it pitted the small business owners in White Deer Plaza against the members of Lake Mohawk, but the small business owners are also members. And as a taxpayer and a member, we're paying lawyers on both sides. So I just want to say it was stupid. Please, when we address that, could we just not do that cycle of stupidity again? I like lawyers, but I don't like to, enrich them when I think we could just sit down and work it out. So, but what I think we can do, and Josh is right, is that lot is underutilized. I think the crux of the matter, and the attorney maybe can help with this, was that by making that a pay-for lot, that we would have to, it's in a residential area or something with the zoning, and it would make it complicated. We'd have to carve out the zoning for Lake Mohawk. So it made sense to me that the membership should get some monies back, but obviously if they have to then have an attendant and collecting fees, and it's a little bit stupid. So I don't know if there's something in municipal services, or if we can take a section of that parking lot and just say that's for White Deer Plaza.
The original plan was just that we were gonna partner and say, okay, whether it's we split the cost half and half.
Yeah.
We do the paving and you just pay cost. And,
Or maintenance, that was the other thing we tried to broker.
but the idea was,
The cost of offsetting these costs to share, because it was at that time an accessible, so it's, excuse me, it was an accessory parking lot. And that's what started the whole thing, in a zone that was outside. I'm happy to talk to you about it offline.
Yeah, I mean, I don't-
but to your point.
To the point.
And Chris knows this because she talked to them directly. Some of the businesses came to us and said, we were told not to oppose this. And,
But,
they
okay.
knew it was gonna hurt them. They didn't want it. But
Right.
they were told, keep your mouth shut. And, and listen, I wish, well, I don't like to be wrong, but I'm glad I wasn't wrong because I fought. I wasn't even on the council at the time, and I fought for this because I was on the Economic Development Committee and I knew what this was gonna do to the businesses. And it just, for no reason. I mean,
Well, okay, but to be frank, Josh, I feel like sometimes you kind of have a feeling about Lake Mohawk, and I like Lake Mohawk is about 50% of Sparta population,
what's my
40%.
feeling about Lake Mohawk? I grew up on Lake Mohawk.
Okay, so
What do you think my feeling is about it?
it seems like there's this negative connotation with Lake Mohawk, and when we've in the past, you said, oh, we help them out and that's great. And maybe it's just this uncomfortable homeowners association, property owners association nonsense with quasi municipality and whatever. I just wish we could figure out the roadways, the parking lots, and make it so that the township can benefit from, say, White Deer Plaza, which we all kind of recognize is the center of town, right? But membership's paying for repaving, ripping out trees. Christmas is kind of like, the holidays were kind of jarring because we couldn't put lights on the trees. Then we have the sidewalks they're ripping out because we're paying for slip and falls as members, right? So I don't really know what the answer is. I'm just saying that we should be working together. So perhaps I have it wrong, and I'm not trying to then.
I grew up in Lake Mohawk. I have
Okay.
nothing against Lake Mohawk at all.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I fought for that
Yeah.
Because I thought it was the right thing, both for Lake Mohawk and the businesses in the plaza.
Yeah.
And, that was our attempt. That was the first time. And Chris was on the committee where they sat down and said, let us help. You're right. You don't deserve to pay the whole thing while people all over town are parking for free.
But I don't care if people, like, if we have volume, we also shouldn't be excluding people as long as it's just a fair share.
But my point was, that was our first attempt at saying, let's do this together, and we got rejected.
Okay. So, and then you have your Economic Development Council, whatever. At one time, I don't know if it still exists, but when you go back, I think there was like a small merchants, White Deer Plaza. Do you remember that White Deer
Yeah,
Plaza
there
had?
was a small committee of
So
just-
like maybe that
Great
could,
Bill had it. I
Yeah.
think she read it at the time.
so if that came back, and I think certainly, I mean, we have longtime members and businesses that we need to support, like that. White Deer Plaza needs to stay viable. So anyway, I just wanted to put a pin in that, and I'm sorry to hurl that at you, and I apologize and I'll retract it. But it just seems stupid that we were paying lawyers both sides. I'm like, come on, guys.
Agree.
Yeah, we agree. And I also want to let you know that we do a lot together.
Yeah.
So I'm happy if you want to give me a call. I think you have my number or my email.
Or just like, I don't
You
know.
could reach out, we can have coffee, and I can go through some of the stuff, because we have worked together
Yeah.
on many things. And that's the way it should be. We're one community. We have to just respect the boundaries legally
Yeah.
from what's an HOA and what's not. But I think we definitely need to explore these opportunities that we do have to work together where they make sense. So
2,700 households, is that normal for HOA, like for an HOA? Like, it's a pretty high volume.
Depends.
So I don't know, and it's not for me to invite you, but you're a member. I mean, I go to the Board of Trustees meetings when I can, maybe the liaisons. I know I've seen Neil there. Maybe because we seated a new board and there's a new GM, it might be cool to kind of see one or both of you at the Board of Trustees meetings, just to identify yourselves there. I know, it'd be nice. I've seen Victoria Germano, I think, was here during the reorg. So she's the president of the Board of Trustees. So anyway, I'm just looking for collaboration. I know we can get there, and obviously there's a part of this that's like, we got the parking lots, we also got the roadways, we got White Deer Plaza and the paving and all that. So I think if we can work together, and now like with the salt shed and everything, like whatever we can do to kind of split and equally share costs and just save everyone money, because everything's more expensive now. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
we store the
Thanks, Rob.
salt.
Yeah,
or
thank
the
you. And that
compost
will
or
be,
salt.
I think we will address that with our meetings, that, I mean, my view of it is, we should cooperate. You also have to address, there are issues between what, Lake Mohawk may want and what we can do under the law. There's also, Lake Mohawk does stand separately from a lot of other HOAs because it has probably the highest volume of non-residential use. And so their view, of course, is if you're having such a high non-residential use, there has to be a way to do some type of cost shifting so that there isn't what we call an economics free riding. And so, but we'll address all of that. I think you have the desire of the council to collaborate where we can, and, to address people's needs. So I think that, your point is well taken, but be assured that I think, it's the shared, view of the people on the council, I think, that where we can work together and help our businesses and also address some of the significant issues that may be felt by the Lake Mohawk membership, we'll do so.
I appreciate that. And then just because I thought of it, Herb Kloss, you guys know Herb Crane Kloss. And I think it was 1964, he was a big proponent he basically got the membership of Lake Mohawk and said, the township of Sparta is growing, Lake Mohawk members represent a lot of that. And so he kind of threw his weight behind, let's work together with the township and basically take the patchwork of Lake Mohawk from 28, 27 onward and roll it into and let the township handle it. And like, so my point is he planted the seed in 1960s and said, trust the township. So I just want to get back to that and build off of that, because there was that early collaboration and somehow it seems like it's been lost, but I'd like it to come back. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other member of the public wishes to speak? Okay, with that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion?
May I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.